Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to E&L Pulse, supported by Business of Entertainment. E&L Pulse is a curated platform designed to foster meaningful, future-focused conversations within the leisure and entertainment industry. It is an initiative of the Entertainment and Leisure Show. Thank you for joining us today as we explore today's theme, Entertainment Takes Center Stage, the new anchor of modern malls. Let's look at some data. The Middle East shopping centers market is valued at $855 billion based on a 5-year historical analysis. This growth is primarily driven by increasing urbanization, rising disposable incomes, and a shift in consumer preferences towards experiential shopping. The expansion of retail spaces and the integration of entertainment options within shopping centers have further fueled this market's growth. Globally, the indoor amusement center industry was valued at $51.29 billion in 2024 and is projected to reach $84.03 billion by 2030, growing at a CAGR of 9%. India, however, accounts for just about 2% of this market, indicating significant headroom for expansion. The indoor amusement center market generated around 8,400 crore INR in 2024 and is expected to reach 15,600 crore INR by 2030, growing at a CAGR of 11.3%, faster than the global average of 9%. Today's discussion will explore how malls are evolving from shopping destinations into immersive lifestyle ecosystems, and how both the MENA region and India are shaping this transformation in unique ways. We are delighted to have an excellent panel with us today, which I believe will make this discussion particularly insightful. Let me now introduce our speakers. I have with me today Mr. Sharif El-Dawawi. As Vice President of Leisure and Entertainment at Al Ghurair in Dubai, he leads a fully integrated portfolio that positions entertainment not simply as an attraction, but as a strategic commercial anchor, driving footfall, increasing dwell time, and enhancing cross-category revenue across the retail environment. A warm welcome to you, Sharif.
Thank you very much, Upasna, and thank you so much for having me. It's very exciting to meet with the industry peers and looking forward to share our input and learn from all of you as well.
Our next guest today is Mr. Smith Shah, founder, Peach Prime Consultancy, an experienced design consultant specializing in family entertainment centers, museums, immersive attractions, and experiential entertainment projects delivered over 14 states in India and growing globally. Smith, welcome to E&L Pulse.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me here, and I hope to have a good conversation with all of you.
Our third guest is Mr. Raid Bagdash, Senior Director, Flagship Assets for Cenomy Centers, Riyadh. Cenomy Centers is the largest owner and operators of shopping malls in Saudi Arabia, with over 20 malls across the country. Raid, a warm welcome to E&L Pulse.
Thank you, Upasna, and hi everyone. Looking forward for this discussion.
Now, across both the Middle East and India, malls are undergoing a major transformation. And what's fascinating is that this shift is happening across both mature retail markets in the GCC and rapidly growing urban markets like India. I would like to begin by understanding the broader behavioral shift that is driving this transformation. Traditionally, malls were anchored by retail brands and department stores. Today, entertainment appears to be taking over that role. What we are seeing globally is the rise of the experience economy, where consumers increasingly value memorable experiences over transactional shopping. And perhaps most importantly, entertainment is no longer being treated as an add on within malls. Let me start with Sharif. So, from your perspective, what has fundamentally changed in consumer behavior over the last decade that has accelerated this shift from retail to experience?
Thanks, Upasna. The way I see it, and this is my humble experience in the region and being in UAE now for almost 14 years, and prior to that in the Middle East, the first fundamental shift happened actually before COVID and after COVID. Why does that happen? Before COVID, whenever you wanted to buy a retail product, you would go to the mall. So you would enter the mall, buy the specific product you're looking at, and you would exit. You might spend time to have coffee, lunch, and that's about it. COVID has forced all retailers globally, and not only retailers, also consumers, to adapt technology. Everyone who's stuck at home, how to get access to stuff was online. Personally, I was in a retail company at that time, and we had to develop a website in 2 months during COVID. So I remember that time specifically, how all the retailers had to do that part. So the moment the consumer and the retailers adopted the technology, it became super easy today to order anything online. So delivering any product today can come to your doorstep, and companies are competing on the time duration, right? Between 10 minutes, 15 minutes, can I bring it to you now? Can I bring it to you early? But the only thing that still cannot be replicated online is the actual experience. Hence, you cannot celebrate a birthday online. You cannot feel an attraction online. You would need to go to the mall. Hence, the malls understood that for us to keep customers inside the malls, we need to give an experience anchor, i.e. entertainment at all shapes. The second part is the Middle East is a mall culture driven, right? People spend time at the mall due to the climate and all those conditions. So it's not only about shopping, it's about gathering and the memorable experiences.
Right. Thank you, Sharif. Let me bring Raid into the conversation here. We are seeing a significant shift in consumer behavior across Saudi Arabia, where people are increasingly looking for destinations that combine shopping, entertainment, dining, and social experiences all under one roof. At the same time, the kingdom's Vision 2030 is strongly focused on strengthening the retail and leisure sector, with lifestyle destinations and experiential developments becoming an important part of the transformation. Right, from your perspective, what is driving this change in consumer expectations? And how are malls in Saudi Arabia adapting to this growing demand for more immersive and entertainment led experiences through retailtainment?
Sure. So if we think what's changing the consumer expectations, maybe the first fundamental thing is basically I would say demographics. So if we think about the Saudi demographic, Saudi has one of the youngest populations globally. So if I'm not mistaken, they have around 65 to 70% of the population less than 30, 35 years old. That's a significant number. So having this demographic shift basically comes with it. It follows with a different set of expectations, right? So what does the Saudi young population look for? It's basically more social activities. They have more preferences for experiences, higher need for, again, innovation. If you think about Gen Zs and the millennials, they want more unique products. So this fundamental shift in demographic is something that defines what malls, what retail, food, and entertainment should look like as an offering. Number two, if we think about the Saudi consumer as well, the Saudi consumer is very well educated, very well traveled. So the Saudi consumer has seen what's in Europe, what's in the US, what's in Asia, basically the leading countries. Again, when they're coming back home, the expectation is we need to see similar offering in our country. Number three, I would say, is Vision 2030, which is again setting very high standards to the city. So since the launch of the vision, there's a lot of PIF developments, and we've seen a couple of them that are already delivered in Saudi. So if we think about Diriyah, the offering is a great F&B offering. If we think about Riyadh Season, that's a great entertainment and diverse offering across the city. If we think about Qiddiya, you're looking at Six Flags, first entertainment theme park in Saudi, so on and so forth. So again, the demographic changes, where the country is heading, and on the projects that are being done in the country is what's setting actually the expectations. And I think maybe the last point, which is the need for a change in malls at the moment, is basically the rise of e-commerce as well. So with the rise of e-commerce, you would need something that is providing something that's different for the consumer, right? Because e-commerce is very convenient. Without providing this immersive, this emotional experience to consumers, it will be difficult to get them out of the house, take them into your shopping mall. So basically, in summary, what basically needs to shift in shopping malls, if I want to keep it brief, is I'll start with the positioning of the mall. So what the trend we're seeing is moving from a retail destination to a mixed-use development. This is what creates a community, right? Moving from shopping centers to more of a lifestyle destinations. And what this means is basically, typically what we used to see in shopping centers is you have 70% of the mix for fashion, 10% to 15% for F&B, and then 10% for entertainment. And then now when we say lifestyle destination, we're seeing less focus on fashion, more focus on F&B, lifestyle offerings, as well as entertainment. And finally, when we talk about specific categories, when it comes to retail in the new malls, we're looking at more experiential retail, right? When we're looking at F&B, the Saudi consumer would be looking for unique concepts, more freshness, more concepts that are new to the city. And finally, when it comes to entertainment, which is a great pull, and entertainment is basically what now increases dwell time in the mall, right? That's what every landlord is looking for when it comes to their destinations. So when we talk about entertainment, I think the shift that's happening here is more focus on IP entertainment, so IPs, more focus on the more experiences within the concept. So in many cases in traditional entertainment, you used to see one concept, one or two experiences. Currently, what you're seeing, you get an IP, you have like 10 or 15 experiences within that IP, which provides diversification.
Right.
And again, all of this will increase dwell time. And it's, as you said, Upasna, entertainment is becoming a key category for the success of malls.
I completely agree with you, right, and thank you for your insight. Let me bring in Smith here. The report titled Ready, Set, Play, India's Indoor Amusement Industry at a Turning Point, notes that consumer spending at indoor amusement centers has risen by 30 to 40% compared to pre-pandemic levels. Tier 1 cities are witnessing 10 to 15% higher spending per customer than Tier 2 markets. Now, Smith, from your perspective, what is driving this change in consumer behavior in India, and how important are indoor entertainment centers becoming for malls looking to increase footfall, dwell time, and overall customer experience?
Thank you, Pastor, for bringing me in. So, the way I see it, over the years, from last 15 years, things has shifted a lot. Maybe around 2010, that FECs that used to be like a 7,000, 8,000, 10,000, 15,000 square feet. And usually it's on the top floor of the mall where you have only one accelerator going on over there. And people usually, they are more focused on the retail. So usually the ground floor, first floor, second floor all have retail. And then you go to third floor, they have the F&B and the FECs. So this is how the typical arrangement used to be in most of the mall in India. Now, what has happened is the customer has changed. 15 years ago, you had a one set of customers. Over the years, Gen Z has been introduced. Over the years, Gen Alpha has been introduced. So the choices they have, the kind of, the expectation they have, kind of environment they want to get is different than what millennials ever wanted to have at that time. Now, because of this shift, and also because of a lot of quick commerce and online shopping has been introduced in the last 10 years. So to get that family experience, which you can't get through online ordering or through online food ordering, or whether it's a consumer appliances or even the retail, you can't get while sitting on the sofa at your home. So that family experience, the experience with friends and with groups, usually you get when you go out, right? Now, over the years, we have seen that FECs has become bigger and bigger, and malls are getting designed in order to give them the higher height, because usually the mall, after you reduce the services, you don't have that much height available. And to have that kind of activities and experience, for certain activities you need to have a very good height of 5 meters, 6 meters, and which was the obstacles before. Even what we see right now is the opportunity for the mall is to include the entertainment center before it's been designed. So, it is not that it is only on the one floor. It can be integrated on multiple floor. It can be a part of atrium. It can be worked out in a way that it is an integrated entertainment center throughout the mall. You look at the Dubai Mall, how they have done, how they have planned it on the different layer, different locations, and how people are specifically going to find the experience that they wanted to do. The challenges the mall will have, and it is already having right now in India, is standalone FECs. Because we are currently doing 4 projects, and all of them are not in mall. They are standalone FECs, and they are in the range of 50,000 square feet to 120,000 square feet. Why they want to go with that is because the rent is cheaper. They can design the way they want. They can, curate the experience they want. They get all the utilities, the height availabilities, the way they want. So I feel that mall, the developers and builders, they don't need to just design for themselves and then give a plate to somebody to run the FACs. They have to innovate. They have to go with the flow, and they have to understand what is the requirement and how it will help. I mean, entertainment is not add-on or supporting activity right now, because all the other activities has become that. So even the entertainment can be a center of attraction. It can be a sun, and all other activities can be all the planet. So the sooner the people will understand this, the better outcome and better planning and better dwell time they will have. Because when people come only for the shopping, the dwell time they spend in the mall is much less than when they come for entertainment. It is much more. And if this point spend more time over there, of course, they are going to eat, they are going to shop, and ultimately it will be beneficial for everybody who is part of that mall.
Right. Thank you, Smith. Let's explore this topic a bit more. It's becoming a little interesting. Now, I think all of you have said the same thing, that experiences, unlike retail, cannot truly be replicated digitally. We have witnessed, and we are witnessing such digital platforms for retail on a rise in GCC as well as India. Now, I'll bring Ride back here. Whether it's family entertainment center and immersive attractions, or simply the social atmosphere of a destination, malls are now increasingly competing on emotions, engagement, and memory creation rather than just convenience. So, are consumers expecting malls to provide beyond retail? So you've already touched that in your first question, right? You did talk about demographics and e-commerce, and how important entertainment has become for the footfall of malls. But if you could just come back here and let's explore this a bit more. Right.
Sure. So so again, if we're thinking about, I'll come back to the consumer again. They can access. If we think about, let's say, e-commerce, right? They can access the products instantly online. And again, if we think about the young consumer, which we said demographics, this young consumer is more tech savvy, right? So it only makes sense that they're using they will be more willing to use e-commerce rather than go to physical destinations. So when we're working on physical destinations, I think what we need to do is provide something that cannot be replicated online, right? And it's basically that feeling of being somewhere, let's say, unique. Now, if we think about what creates this uniqueness, I would say it's several points. One is the diversity of the offering that you're giving. So again, when we think about developments, I don't want to segregate entertainment from the other offerings, because I think it's one cohesive mix that all works together. And then you cannot drop any of them, right? So when we think about the offering, we need to look at it from a category perspective, and then all the categories working together. So when it comes to the category, each category on its own, I think what the Saudi consumer is looking for is this freshness in the city, which is something I've mentioned. What do we mean freshness? Is what they bring, what brands are we bringing new to the city, right? It could be brands that are available in the West but are not yet in Saudi. And we're looking at a huge number of brands. So for example, in Westfield Riyadh and Westfield Jeddah, which are two of our newest developments opening this year, 10% of the brands that we're bringing, at least 10% basically of the brands that are in the mall, are actually new brands to the city. So this is what defines freshness. When we look at cross categories, I think a very successful mall does this very homogeneously, right? So retail needs to be talking to F&B, needs to be talking to lifestyle categories, needs to be talking to entertainment. And again, the only way to nail this is by knowing your visitors. Yes. I think another big trend that we're seeing in successful malls is something that I call the spike. So again, if you think about, and it's kind of categorized as a specific type of entertainment, right? Maybe not FEC, but just a puller. It's a kind of an attraction. If you think about Dubai Mall, the fountain,
Yes.
it's a place where it attracts a lot of visitors, brings people to the mall, and then these visitors spend more time in the mall, and basically buy from other retailers and F&B offerings, so on and so forth. Again, in Westfield Riyadh, we're working on something very similar. So we're naming something the Jewel, which is going to be a very nice area surrounded by F&B. Just more, it's inspired by the fountain in Dubai, just much more futuristic. So we're going to have shows every 2-3 hours, just very digital. It's projections on the roof. We have water features, mist effects, music, so on and so forth. So I think that's definitely something important in malls. Maybe the third and final point, I would say guest experience. This is something that all landlords should be focusing on. So if you look at the current landscape, if you look at the service level, I would say it's a very basic service level. And that's not really talking to the consumer, right? Moving, I think, at least where we're moving in all our developments is this hospitality grade service level. And we stopped calling our consumers. We start calling them guests, right? Which industry calls the consumer guests? It's basically the hospitality industry. And if you think about the hospitality industry, it's the industry that has the best services, right? The best service, the best guest experience. So I think the guest needs to be in the center of the development process. It's what Smith was saying. entertainment should also be in the center of the development process. It's not an end result of the development process. It's embedded within. It's the same with guest experience, and it's basically talking to the guest from start to finish throughout the process.
Thank you, Raid. Now, Smith, I'm going to come to you now. And can we have your thoughts on how important do you think this experience exclusivity that even Raid is talking about has become in driving mall visitation today in India?
Smith, you're on mute. Smith, you're on mute, Smith.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was keep on talking. Okay, let me start again. So what used to happen is before in FECs that we used to have arcade games, redemption games, bumper cars, soft play, and a simple trampoline park where you just go and play. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't get good pictures, you don't get good memories that you can share or see with others. And those things are changing now. Now, when we design, we take care of lighting, we take care of ambience, we take care of, some selfie points or some attraction that will be there in every corner you look at that. So basically, when people come over there, they not only share the experience within the group or within the people they are coming with, they take the memories with them and they share it on the social media. And that becomes like a chain that, it will drive other users, it will drive other people to come over there and to experience that. So experience is not now only about playing a game. It is more about, how you felt overall over that. Even the way that design is working, the way that we are doing the zoning, the way we are doing experiences, it is more becoming like a group activities are taking more priorities rather than the standalone activities where you go and play by yourself. It is more of a competitive game that you play. Even if it's arcade game, it has been modified, it has been worked out in a way that you compete among the group, especially like now concept of barcade is also coming, the bar with arcade, that you go, you have a drink and you play, you share the memories over there. So overall, even within the mall, the things are shifting, the things are changing, even the soft plays, before we used to have a soft play where you have some structure and slide, and now we are more about role play activities where kids can actually do the things by themselves, they can pretend to be somebody. We are also introducing edutainment. It is a part of kids fun activities which they like. So all this experience, the new experience, that is what makes them different than the regular FECs. So the client or the people or the developer who wants to create the exclusivity and then wants to bring certain class of group of people to the mall, which will help them, encounter the retail, the F&B and the cinemas and everything. They are opting for a unique experiences. They are not opting for the typical FECs. They are opting for unique experiences. So that is the shift we are seeing over the last few years now.
Great insight, Smith. Thank you so much. Sharif, what's your take on consumer expectations on malls to provide something beyond retail, something more immersive, social, and emotionally engaging, like what Smith just mentioned?
So the way I see it, Upasna, one of the things that we've been observing, again, I always go before and after COVID, because that was a shift in how the consumer have behaved, right? Today, when you look at the indoor entertainment or even the guests that we get in the mall, you have families with young kids, and those will be newborn up to 7, 8 years old. Then you will have kids who would call wannabe teenagers between 9 years old up to 16 years old. And this one is very interesting. And then you have adults, right? I'll go back to the 9 to 16 years old, right? What happened is the moment the child reach 8, 9 years old, he doesn't want to hang out in the places where you have the families and the kids, right? So the families that have young kids, they will go to FEC, they will celebrate a birthday, they will have the parents around, have a cake and celebrate, right? That segment, which is now 8, 9 years old because of the social media and the technology exposure, they became young adults, right? So for them, they don't want to be hanging out in those areas, but still they don't have the full dependency to be without their parents in places, right? So today, the way malls strategy and how they would want to attract that kind of a consumer is how they are curating that experience. Example, should we do one area where you have the families and the kids, and there's an only exclusive area for 9+ with an ID that they can enter with? You know, those kind of differentiators, especially for that age group, because that age group is heavily stimulant since they were born with technology, right? They were born with iPads in their hands, they're born with phones in their hands. So they get bored super easy, and it's super difficult to get them to be engaged, right? So I believe that's the way today entertainment providers and malls are looking at it.
Great. Thank you, Sharif. Now, across GCC, countries are investing heavily in tourism, entertainment, and mixed-use destination development. India is not behind. India, meanwhile, is witnessing rapid expansion in entertainment, real estate, immersive attractions, and urban leisure infrastructure. Technology is playing an increasingly important role in redefining visitor engagement. Now, let me start with Smith. In India, esport arenas, gaming lounges, and VR enabled attractions are becoming increasingly popular. Which innovations do you believe will most significantly shape mall experiences over the next 5 years?
So, before we used to have that typical indoor attraction and then the outdoor attraction, and those two has been always separate. Now the things are changing, like, the outdoor attraction also wants to have a indoor attraction where, because of the weather, it's because of the raining, it's very hot in summer and they don't prefer to go outdoor. So they are also planning for indoor sectors. Now, as I earlier said, that many FECs, the many chain FECs, they are just copy and pasting whatever model they have in one mall to another mall. So if you have a tourist consumer base more, or if you have people who are traveling to your city, they don't want to come to your center. Why? Because they already have that center in their own city. But curated experience will make a difference. And it's very easy nowadays because of the social media for people to find out what is there. Within just like 1 minute reel, you can observe that what is good there, whether it's worth going there or not. Before, we used to have this typical egg shape VR where you just sit in that, you wear the VR headset and you watch the movie. And then over the times, the VR headset and VR technology has improved, and different kind of experience that you can do, like ride a boat, or you can fly, you can do the shooting with the gun. But now the mixed reality, the VR, AR, the holographic projection, and then the sensor-based experience. So now, for example, we are designing one social gaming experience. So a lot of technologies are involved in that. And these are all group games that it's like you enter into some arena itself. It is not individual game. And you go from one room to another room, or one area to another area, and you do 8 or 9 or 10 different activities. Then you come out after 1 hour. So this kind of group activities with different technology. And again, the technology has to be different. Even the media, how the technology has been utilized by the user has to be different. It cannot be only the LED tile or LED panel or the projection or holographic projection or AR or VR. If consumer is coming, they don't want to see the repetition. So basically, all this different way of technology, whether, we are having 6 DOF degree of freedom F1 racing arena, where you actually feel that immersive screen, you feel that, the up and down of the F1 car, So those kind of experience are taking as a center stage. So those are the becoming as a USP. Those are the becoming the driving force for people to come, and all the arcade and redemption and all those are just like a becoming like a filler. So the sooner the curated experience takes over, the faster it becomes for FEC to attract more users and then have them spend more time over there. And as I said, like, once they spend more time over there, they are going to use food, they are going to use drink. Ultimately, it will drive the revenue. And this not only helps as a walk-in customer, because we always tell our client that if you depend only on walk-in customers, then you will never have a success that you always wanted to have. So basically the birthday parties, the corporate parties, the kitty parties, the group parties, these are the major, major revenue generating things that we think of when we design. And walk-ins are definitely going to come if you create something good. But if you have this, then your ROI becomes much faster than the regular FECs that you see. So of course, the technology is changing a lot. And even people are also afraid that if they buy something now, after 2 years, it's changing a lot and they will not be competitive. So that is why the content also needs to be changed. If you cannot use the same content you're using now and after 6 months, after 1 year, and some people, they give 60 movies, 80 movies, and those things are, not well curated. They are not very well experienced. So the focus has been more on the quality than the quantity. And it's definitely going to upgrade a lot, and everybody needs to adopt sooner or later.
Thank you, Smith. Let me bring in Ride now. As Smith said, right, from VR attractions and gamification to AI-driven personalization and interactive storytelling, technology is rapidly transforming entertainment ecosystems. What are GCC malls adopting to enhance guest engagement?
Sure. So maybe to complement on what Smith has already said. So actually, maybe before starting, the advancements in AI and technology at the moment is extremely fast, right? So I think the number one skill that any landlord or retailer can adopt is basically this adaptation, right? This adaptation mentality based on how technology is moving. So I think this is key for success. But again, if we want to think about a couple of innovations that we'll start seeing in malls and lifestyle destinations, I would say one, we're going to probably be seeing new categories, right? So currently the categories that we know are, let's say, fashion, lifestyle, F&B, entertainment, grocery, homeware, so on and so forth. So we might be seeing tech-like categories. So you might see, as Smith said, VR. Let's say a store with a VR concept labeled. I'm just speaking out loud. Labeled as travel wherever you want, right? You wear this VR, it takes you to Italy, or it takes you to Paris, or it takes you to any other country with a very nice experience. So basically, we'll start basically seeing new categories that are enabled by tech, or even existing categories that are enabled by tech. So maybe second point would be we might be seeing in retail stores upgraded services utilizing tech. So again, the best way is just to talk about examples and ideas here. Just imagine any fashion store where you would go, you want to wear a dress, right? You pick up a dress from the rack, and then you typically what now you do, you go to the fitting room, and then you wear it just to see if it looks nice or not. I think use of technology here would be, okay, just a click and let me see myself wearing it without actually wearing it, right? So this is how retailers can start adopting technology. Third, the mall can start utilizing technology as services. So imagine a robotic customer service. Imagine robotic cleaning. But again, here, I don't think human interaction needs to go away. I just think there's room for innovation when it comes to customer service offering. A fourth or fifth point is about personalization. I think this is key. So the utilization of data. basically to provide personalized recommendations to guests. So what we've currently done in Sinomi, we've launched. We were the first to launch a portfolio-wide loyalty platform. So we've launched it as of this month. I think we'll be able to start providing recommendations, again, personalized recommendations to guests on, let's say, specific offers from retailers. Let's say any specific products that come in new to some retailers, we push it to these guests. Again, it helps the guests in one way by being more personalized, and it helps the tenants by increasing their sales as well. And maybe the last point is, which is something that the guests wouldn't see, let's say the tools and systems that are used by the landlord or more developer and operator. So again, very simple example would be the heat maps, right? The heat maps that you install within the mall, just to be able to see how the traffic is moving. It allows you to do traffic management. And number two, which is more importantly, it allows you to actually know what brands works well with the other and how to start changing the tenant mix, how to plug in this perfect puzzle for the perfect guest experience.
Thank you, Raid. Sharif, what kind of technological innovations are you looking forward to witnessing in the next few years?
The way I see it, and it might be a little bit different view right here, is technology will never replace experiential entertainment. It might replace so many elements, but the experiential entertainment to be replaced by technology is something way far from now, right? The way I see technology is being an enabler to a current experience. And I'll give a small example on that and where I would see technology, because in the tech space and the AI space, there's a lot of noise nowadays, right? Every
Yes.
day you're getting someone trying to sell a solution that works on this, that tracks on that, but you're not able to connect A to B to C, right? They are all individual applications, but they don't talk to each other. So still we don't have an enabler. We're having a machine learning process that we're trying to connect the dots together. The way I see it, I will give very, very small example. Imagine an Arabic lady with two kids walking into a family entertainment or a theme park, right? She's an Arabic speaker. She doesn't speak English, right? She has two kids. She enters on Eid holiday. Cash counter is super busy. Until she reaches the counter, cashier is there, trying to explain to her the packages that are being there. While she have two kids next to her, they want to run, they want to play. She's not able to understand the cashier because of the language barrier. The kids are impatient to wait for the check-in processes. So that the way I see it is, if the point technology comes to having a seamless check-in, i.e., the moment this lady comes with their kids, it will have like sensors that say, hey, Sharif, welcome back. Your last time laser tag scores were significant. Are you going to beat it next time? That becomes a seamless check-in experience. Hence, this is where I see the technology I would be looking at. VR, AR, all those technologies are great to have, but these changes super fast, right? The VR we had 5 years ago is not the same we had 4 years ago, and so on and so on and so on. So
Right.
that's where, honestly, I see the technology part. There's so much of debate. There's so much of noise, and I'm sure all the gentlemen on this call, every 10 minutes, they're getting someone offering a solution that will work as an AI or a technology. But what really enables the experience is what I would be looking at.
Lovely. Thank you, Sharif. Now, we've spoken about where the industry is today, but I'd like to conclude by looking ahead, the malls beyond 2030. Because the malls beyond 2030 will likely to be very different from malls we know today. Looking ahead, what will define a successful mall destination beyond 2030? Let me start with you, Smith. Smith, maybe he's...
Yes.
Okay, he's
Yeah.
there.
So the way I see it, the copy-paste culture that we have seen over the last few years, it has been exhausted. Especially the people or the developer who wants to cater a certain, the age group or certain class of people, and they want to generate the revenue, they are looking for a different part of entertainment. FVC is not the only way that people will get the entertainment. Now, you have a sports arena, whether it's a digital sports arena or even itself a physical for sports arena. You have edutainment, you have a museum is also becoming a part of FECs now, the new FECs that we are designing, where before the museum used to be operated only by the government and people pay very minimum fees to go there, and it is more about the static exhibits and the infographic. But now the things are changing. Parents also wants them because they are already addicted to digital media at home or with friends. So they also want, the kids to get a hands-on experience with all this fun with science and technology and all those things over there. Also, second part we are also seeing is the culture. The culture will be different in different cities within the country. Also, different state will have different culture. Tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 city will have different culture. So cultural, evolution with the gamification can make some difference in how you see your place to the another place in some other city. So when people plan for FECs, they have to think, they have to innovate. I mean, things exist. Things exist in this world. You don't need to invent all the time. It's just you innovate, you find the things that can work together, and you make a mix of it in a way that it might not have been done earlier. And then that will become your winning formula. But again, this winning formula might be different in different region. So that is why it's very specific that you have to observe the audience. You have to observe that people of what they want, how they want. And based on that, the experience needs to be curated. If the FECs are going to be just copy pasted with a arcade redemption bumper car, then I don't think that they will be able to generate the enough ROI to sustain the very large rental of the mall, because per square feet rental in the mall is way too high, and then you do the standalone. So that's why many people are choosing the standalone FECs or entertainment places because of the less per square feet rental. So things will change fast because the generation, the kids, Gen Zs and Alpha, what they want, it is very change. And if we don't adapt them, then they are not going to adapt what we have. So things will definitely change fast, and it is for the better. And I think the industry will grow much more than what it is right now in terms of the options. The options will be way too more than what it is right now. And that will be actually good thing for the manufacturer, for the designer, and for everybody who wants to contribute something for the society and something who wants to bring some good experience.
Thank you, Smith. Sharif, what must developers prioritize today, whether in entertainment integration, technology, sustainability, mixed use planning, or community engagement, to remain relevant tomorrow?
So the same way we have discussed the technology bit,
Yeah.
it's going to be very similar here. The more the technology evolves, the more everything becomes super transactional. Hence, the human interaction will become more and more valuable over time, right? It goes reverse. The moment technology increases, everything becomes automated, becomes super transactional. So people will start to cherish more the social experiences, right? Something like a birthday or something like a social gathering, right? With that logic in mind, again, 2030 is not very far ahead, but it's ahead.
Yes.
I believe that new developers, they will start to structure. Previously, the anchors used to be a hypermarket or one massive entertainment. I feel that the next step would be that it's going to be a leisure space with a shopping integrated within rather than the other way around, right? Because people would want to cherish the experience. For them to go to a mall today or a destination, there should be a reason. As we said, technology is evolving, e-commerce is at your doorstep in 5 minutes. So what's going to push someone to go ahead? And back to my point about the age group of 9 to 16, these are the ones who's going to be defining that era moving forward, right? So the way they are behaving today is what's going to give us an indicator of forward. But the way I still see it, that human interactions will become more and more valuable as we go ahead in time.
Thank you, Sharif. And finally, Rai, do you think the future mall will even be defined as a shopping destination anymore, or will it evolve into something much broader?
I think I've touched through that point throughout my discussions. So, but let me bring back to that summary, because I think the mall of the future is what we're seeing at the moment being developed, right? They haven't gone really live yet, but they're all under development. Now, whether they're going to be called shopping centers, I think we're moving away from shopping centers, right? So if we think about the new positioning for these retail destinations, so instead of retail destinations, we're looking at mixed-use developments. So again, it's that community-like development where you have retail, where you have commercial, which are offices, where you have hospitality, cultural activations, you have events, so on and so forth. So retail is one part of this overall mixed-use development. And again, if we focus on that retail portion, so we're moving away from shopping center, more towards a lifestyle destination. And I think this is where I've touched on how the mix is different and how the mix talk to each other. So more focus on unique F&B and more focus on unique entertainment. So I think the third point for basically the mall of the future would be the design of the space. Yes. So what we've seen in the past is a closed box mall. What we're currently seeing is more of an open space, right? So where you have this indoor-outdoor experiences, and even when you're indoor, you might see this floor-to-ceiling height is very large, corridor widths are big. You might find skylight design features, so on and so forth. Three is unique tenancy. So again, I've touched on each, and maybe to focus on entertainment specifically, because that's the main point of discussion today is. So I think putting unique entertainment in malls is expensive for operators, right? It's a very capital intensive project, yes, for any entertainment operator. And what we've seen in the past is, okay, let me reduce my capex and deliver a certain product just to increase my IRR. That's the operator standpoint. And then from a landlord standpoint, I want to lease it at a specific lease rate to make the most. Yes. I think what's currently happening and what's going to continue in the future is this collaboration between landlords and operators. Because there's a win-win, there's a hidden win-win, yes? And in many cases, what currently the landlords are doing is providing a contribution in terms of capex, just to be able to provide that wow experience when it comes to entertainment and these unique experiences, so that the operator can improve their margins. And then the landlord would take the indirect effects of dwell time, repeat visitation, so on and so forth. Lastly, it's points I've also spoke about, which is the spike. I've mentioned guest experience. That's the most important thing. And maybe the last thing is also a point that we've touched on, is embedding technology and the digital world into everything that we're doing.
Thank you, Raid. Now, thank you to all our panelists for such valuable insights. I thoroughly enjoyed these conversations. What's become very clear from today's discussion is that malls are no longer competing purely on retail. They're competing on experience, emotion, engagement, and community. Across both the Middle East and India, entertainment is rapidly emerging as the strategic anchor shaping the future of destination development. The future mall is not simply a place to shop. It's becoming a place to gather, connect, play, discover, and experience. We hope this discussion has offered valuable perspectives and sparked new ideas for everyone here. especially listening to the perspectives of a mall beyond 2030. Thank you once again for joining us at E&L Pulse, supported by Business of Entertainment. We look forward to continuing these conversations in our upcoming sessions with new topics, new voices, and new insights. Until then, stay safe, stay inspired, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.